Batman. The final fate of Boss Thorne. Wanted, public enemy, number 1, the Batman. Showdown. Someone has made a very bad mistake. Gotham City Hall. Situation: organized bedlam.
And so you claim you have no information as to why Commissioner Pauling has cancelled the Batman Special Deputy status? Is that true, Lieutenant?
Lady, I only know what I read in the papers. You tell me. All I can tell you, if he shows here, we got orders to shoot. Good Lord, Pauling. Have you lost your reason? Outlawing the Batman. What earthly good will that do? Isn't it obvious, Mr. Mayor? It'll make killing him all the easier. We'll just be doing our sworn duty, protecting the fair people of Gotham City. You are mad. How long until the press figures out what's going on? Forget the press. They'll believe what we tell them. That the Batman is public enemy number 1? They'll ask questions about that breakout at state prison. Questions we can't answer. Temper, eh? Where'd that breeze come from? An east wind's blowing, gentlemen. It's going to blow you away like so much rubbish. The Batman! He'll kill us! Hands off that alarm button, Mr. Mayor. You've been gulled by your own propaganda. The Batman doesn't kill, but I'm going to destroy you all the same for what you've done to both James Gordon and Gotham City. Keep back. You don't really think I'm afraid of that gun, do you? I'll shoot. Go ahead. Then you'd be rid of me. But you won't. If you really had the guts to pull that trigger, you and Boss Thorne would never have hired Deadshot to kill me. You're an outlaw. You engineered a prison break. I'd be perfectly justified. Pauling, you're not going to let him get away. You said yourself he helped a convict escape state prison. But not just any convict, Pauling? Deadshot, the man you planned to assassinate to remove any proof of your corruption. I don't know what you're talking about. Think about it. I'll be back, and next time I might bring a friend. The man has got to die. I misjudged Pauling. I was sure he wouldn't have the nerve to hit the alarm, that he'd be too worried, wondering where I've hidden Deadshot. He knows Deadshot's testimony could send all of them to prison for conspiracy to commit murder. He doesn't know that so far Deadshot refuses to cooperate. My plan was to spook Hill, Pauling, and Thorne into revealing their complicity unwittingly. Instead, all I've managed to do is make myself a target. Hold your butt. I don't care what the new commissioner says. Nobody's shooting at the Batman without first giving him a chance to surrender. The hell? Give me that rifle, mister. But Sergeant McCloskey, you heard the lieutenant. Yeah, and when the commish hears, that Joker's keister is gonna be dead meat. Jeez, this is more fun than plots and ducks in a Coney Island shooting gallery.
Like shooting ducks in a gallery.
I feel lousy about this. The Batman, he was like one of us. Hey, that's enough, officer. McCloskey, I'll see you get a commendation for tonight's work. Sir, it's a safe bet he fell into this alley. And by the look of things, I'd say those boxes must have broken his fall. Only question is, where is he now? I don't get it. I put a round right between his shoulder blades. What kind of man walks away from that? Grey Towers, in the heart of Gotham City's Doctor's Row, where the well-to-do come seeking the cure for what ails them. Once, many months ago, Grey Towers was the most exclusive of Gotham's exclusive clinics. That was before its proprietor, Dr. Hugo Strange, met with an unfortunate and terminal accident. Said accident at the hands of this man, Boss Rupert Thorne, once and future mastermind of Gotham politics. Hello, Thorne. I see you've got my message. My God, is it... Oh, Dr. 13, it's you. When I saw your glasses glittering in the darkness, you thought I was the ghost of Hugo Strange? I've told you, Thorne, there's no such animal. You see this? A false front between the street and the real Grey Towers building, proving that Grey Towers is no more real than the ghost of the man you murdered. I told you when I hired you to rid me of his spirit, 13. His death was an accident. Right. An accident while your thugs were beating him to learn the secret identity of the Batman. A secret Hugo Strange took with him to his grave. But what about beyond the grave, 13? Since his death, I haven't had a moment's peace. He's haunted me, drove me into a madhouse. 13? What is this place? It's Hugo Strange's lab, Thorne. There's something here I want you to see.
His lab?
Who dares disturb my eternal rest? Who dares disturb the ghost of Hugo Strange? Is it you, Thorne? Have you finally decided to join me in perpetual damnation? Come to me, Thorne. Let me embrace you. was an accident. I tell you, an accident. Who are you trying to convince, Thorne? The ghost or yourself?
The lights. The lights came on, and he disappeared.
But you saw him, 13. You must have. Oh, yes, I saw him, Thorne. Then I'm not losing my mind. He was really here. Hugo Strange was here. Yes and no. Strange's genius was here. And in that sense, he was present in spirit. But as far as his ghost goes, there, Mr. Thorne, that's the ghost of Hugo Strange. What are you saying? That machine, it's a highly sophisticated and completely portable hologram projector. Finding it wasn't hard since I knew what to look for. Here's your haunt, Thorne. A hologram image in a prism. Turn off the lights and I'll show you how it works. A beam of laser light projected through the prism at the proper angle onto a screen of dust particle dense laboratory air in pitch darkness, and what you have is a very convincing illusion. The hologram, combined with a recorded tape, was set to activate 15 seconds after the lab door opened. Similar devices must have been planted in your townhouse. Someone is trying to drive you crazy, Thorne. Whoever it is, he knows your habits and your fears. Know anyone who'd like to see you put away?
Do I know anyone? Yes, Pauling and Hill.
Police Commissioner Pauling and Mayor Hill? Never mind, I don't want to know. I feel dirty enough just dealing with you. You're being well paid. Keep your money, Thorne. My only interest in your case was scientific curiosity. Frankly, I think you deserve to be haunted. Goodbye, Thorne.
And a blazes with you too, Doctor. After I settle with Pauling and Hill, I'll pay you off. Permanently. From now on, nobody is going to have a handle on Boss Thorne. Nobody.
Elsewhere tonight, on the outskirts of Gotham City, Wayne Manor sits silent and austere under a baleful moon. I do wish the master were here. Our guest continues to be most unpleasant. Someone's there. I can hear your footsteps. Blast it. Talk to me. You can't keep me a prisoner like this. If you think you can force me to testify against Thorne and his pals, forget it. I'm not spilling my guts without a deal. You hear? I want a deal. You know who I am? I'm Floyd Lawton. I used to be rich, an important man. You can't treat me like Mr. Lawton. Will you kindly shut up?
Alfred, I need you.
Sir, you've been shot. She'd never been friends with Morton Monroe, but now that her longtime editor is gone, dead by his own hand, Vicky Vale feels an abiding sorrow. What kind of world is it, she wonders, that breaks some men while making other men rich and powerful? Sitting alone in her office at Picture News, long after the week's publishing deadline has passed, Vicky Vale broods about life and death. My private line. Only one person has this number. Bruce, I'm glad you called, darling.
This is not your darling, Ms. Vale. He was never your darling. Consider this call a warning. If you value your life, stay away from Bruce Wayne.
In a shadowy room across town, a phone is set down by a trembling hand. And whether that hand shakes with rage or fear, not even its owner could say for certain. As for Vicky Vale, what she feels is cold fury. It's time she had a talk with Mr. Bruce Wayne. But that is for another time, another place. This time and this place, after midnight, at the townhouse home of Boss Rupert Thorne.
So, Hill and Pauling have turned against me. I should have expected it. If the situation was reversed, I would have turned against them. They don't need me anymore, and they're afraid. I got Hill elected, forced Hill to appoint Pauling police commissioner, and that gives me power. I made them, and I can break them. And that's why they're trying to destroy me. Sure, makes sense. It's good politics. Unless I destroy them first. Yeah, unless I, What the blazes are you doing here?
The tall man in black and gray says not a word, but his presence to Thorne speaks volumes.
Say something. You know, don't you, about how I rigged the mayoral election, slipped Arthur Reeves those phony photos of you so he'd ruin himself when he brought them to the media. You know everything.
A tinkle of broken glass on fireplace marble. The sharp sound goes unnoticed in the tall man's deafening silence.
So you know. So what? You can't prove a thing. Reeves will never testify, and there's nobody else who... Wait a second. Lawton! You got to Lawton. Deadshot, didn't you? He must have told you hiring him to kill Wayne was my idea. Hill and Pauling, they set me up to save their own necks. Didn't they? I'm gonna nail those rotten... What?
A spark from a forgotten fire, spilled brandy, and fate. Together they create disaster. The tall man moves quickly, but the fire is already spreading out of control. Persian rugs and dry antiques make good tinder, you see. And so, like his dreams of political glory, Rupert Thorne's home goes up in smoke. By the time the tall man gives the battle up for lost, Boss Thorne has vanished into the night. Bits of wood and stone, glass and steel. What, under other circumstances, are the building blocks of a life are, tonight, no more than fuel for a hungry fire. The tall man watches, getting no satisfaction from the destruction. There has been too much wanton violence since Boss Thorne returned to Gotham City. Tonight is the night when it stops. City Hall. The reporters have all gone home. TV cameras don't like the rain. But unfortunately, for these men, the problems that drew the media's attention still remain. I swear to you, McCloskey, if the Batman is still alive, if you fouled up, you're finished in this department. For God's sake, Pauling, that's enough. This whole business turns my stomach. I did like you wanted, didn't I? Mr. Mayor, you wanted the Batman out of your hair, so he's out. Nobody survives that kinda wound for long. You better pray you're right, McCloskey. He's wrong. The Batman's alive, unhurt. He came to my house, told me things, and suddenly all the pieces fit. For months, I thought I was going crazy. I saw ghosts, a man who should have been dead, a man I watched die, and it was all a trick to drive me insane. Your trick, you rotten scum! Thorne, for the love of mercy, I swear I don't know what you're talking about. That's too bad for you, Hill. A man should always know why he's going to die. Thorne, please, don't. There is, in the mind of each man, a sudden unnatural clarity, as if time had somehow expanded and reality shifted into high gear. In that instant, dreams and regrets, fears and hopes cease to have meaning. In the double thunder of two guns firing, and for each there is the simultaneous realization that it's over. All of it over. Cripes! I can't breathe. But Batman, Thorne was right. You're still alive. Not for long. The blow sends a tremor up the tall man's arm. McCloskey goes down like so much dead wood. Yeah, you must have seen what happened, Batman. Thorne burst in here, shouting wild accusations. He killed Pauling in cold blood. Would have shot me if McCloskey hadn't. It's not my fault. You can't prove that I had anything to do with this. Thorne's insane, Pauling's dead, and McCloskey knows nothing. I'll reinstate your special deputy status. Have all charges against you dropped. Why are you looking at me that way? Like the ghost at the banquet, the tall man is silent, but accusing. And Hamilton knows, with sick certainty, that though it's over for now, as far as the tall man is concerned, it isn't finished. Epilogue. The rain has stopped, and the skies over Gotham are clearing. But dawn is still an hour away. You heard all of that, Alfred? I kept a comlink channel to the Batcave open, hoping that those creeps would incriminate themselves. But I doubt anything they said would be very convincing in court. How's the patient? Did I make a good stand-in for the Batman, Bruce? In the Batcave under Wayne Manor, Bruce Wayne smiles through a fog of pain and antibiotics. You are great, Robin. And don't be too sure about incrimination. Boss Thorne, at least, won't see the outside of a prison wall for many a year because of Pauling and because of his confession concerning Deadshot. Hamilton Hill is another matter, I'm afraid. Unless Thorne or Deadshot testifies, Hill is scot-free. Damn. 2 crooks nailed out of 3 isn't bad, but it also isn't good enough. We'll just have to keep trying. One thing puzzles me, though. All that babbling Thorne did about ghosts. Hill and Pauling didn't seem to know what he was talking about, and neither do I. I guess Thorne was simply out of his mind. At the curb, across from City Hall, a black limousine sits parked, motor purring. The same limousine which earlier parked opposite the townhouse of Rupert Thorne. Slowly now, as the ambulance bearing Thorne's wounded body pulls away into the night, the rear window slides downward, and from within the car's shadowed interior comes a soft chuckle. Good night, Thorne. Pleasant dreams. To be continued. But first, in Detective 521, Catwoman.